Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Strawberry Sundaes podcast. We have the man behind the logo, Crack Gaming. How are you
Hello.
today?
I'm good. I'm very excited to be here. Um, a lot of people kind of know who we are, so it's nice. I feel to put a face to the name. So very excited to be here. Talk to yourself, answer some questions, and humanize us a little bit more.
Exactly
Because
that.
we're not just the
Exactly that.
logo. We're not just the logo. We are men
We
who
are men
enjoy doing what we
behind the
do.
logo.
Yes, indeed.
So what we'll do, like we discussed previously, we will go through a bit about yourself. We'll get into detail there, and then we'll come into the Crack Gaming side of
Okay.
things a bit later on. So if you
Excellent.
want to give us a bit of detail about yourself, and sort of the introduction to sort of gaming that you've had.
Yeah, sure. So, um, can I just first of all start by saying I know you've kind of bigged this up as me being like the man behind it and things like that, but there are four of us. Okay, I
Yeah.
do have to get that out there because I've got a lot of messages saying, "Oh, so you're the man behind it, are you? You're the man. You're the man." I'm kind of more like the sort of public facing person, so I'll do things like this. I'll get involved in people's chats and all that side of thing, and then we have three others in the background who work on the website and graphics and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, in terms of me, so yes, I do all the sort of public side facing things of Cracked. My name for anyone is Steve or Sevens. You might see that in chats, things like that. And I've been involved with gaming for a long time. My first ever console was a PS2 all those years ago. Um, and my favorite ever game is Modern Warfare 2. Hours and hours with me and another guy who was involved with Cracked. We would spend hours and hours and hours and hours on Modern Warfare 2. Honestly, just
That
yeah,
was a different era.
it
I
was
don't think some of these youngsters understand
the
Modern Warfare
tension.
2, COD 4.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The tension with special ops on Modern Warfare 2 when you heard the little dum of the Juggernaut.
Oh,
And you're kind of hiding in the house and you don't know what way he's coming. And yeah, it was an insane time. And I think that was kind of the first game I ever got kind of heavily involved with. I would rush home to play it. I would, yeah, just spend hours and hours all weekend on it. It was just really, really good. And then it kind of evolved from there. I think around the age of kind of, your early 20s, back in those days, I went out, had fun, kind of gaming took a little bit of a sidestep, worked in bars and clubs and stuff like that. And then the last couple of years, it's kind of came back again with things like Warzone, games like Red Dead Redemption, The Last of Us, just games like that are really interesting to myself.
yeah. So you said obviously that you kind of your era was sort of Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so did you carry on playing Call of Duty, in general, and like you say, until you took a bit of a sidestep where you were working elsewhere?
Um, yes and no. So I played the Modern Warfare. Sorry, not the Modern Warfare. I played the Call of Duty title. So I think it was maybe Black Ops after Modern Warfare 2. I can't remember. I'm not 100% sure. My memory's terrible. But what I found myself doing was playing them and thinking, wow, this isn't as good as Modern Warfare 2. So, so eventually I just kind of left it for a little while, started dipping in and out of other games, Resident Evil games, things like that. And then it's only really in the last couple of years where I've got back into the whole Call of Duty scene.
Yeah,
So I know, hands up, hands up. Uh, I'm kind of relatively new back again to the scene, maybe about 2, 3 years ago, possibly. So it's kind of come around full circle. So I enjoy Warzone and Modern Warfare now as much as I did Modern Warfare 2 previously.
yeah. Okay. And has sort of gaming always been a big factor for yourself when you were growing up?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It was kind of around the year, as I mentioned, kind of PlayStation 2 and then PlayStation 3 came out, Xboxes and things. And I think we were maybe one of the first sort of generations. As you can tell, I'm only 21. No, I'm joking. I'm kind of early 30s, should I say. So our generation, I would say, was kind of one of the first ones where you would kind of take your console around your friend's house. You would play some games on a Friday night. You would, start, even though you were kind of 14, 15, you might have a few beers and think you were the dog's bollocks, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So I think, those were really, really fun times. And um, I think in terms of gaming and stuff, it was more of, it wasn't kind of getting super serious competitive. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not very good. Which is why I run tournaments with friends rather than playing them, because I'm, you know, absolutely terrible at Warzone and games I play and things like that. So um, this gives us a way of getting involved with the community, because it's such a fun place to be.
Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head there with sort of the different generations. I can definitely relate to sort of like taking your console around your mates,
Yeah,
playing these duo
yeah,
games like
yeah.
Resident Evil, where you're a character each and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And then having, like, back in the day where you had like the split screen view, so you had your
yeah,
character on the top and then the other character on the bottom. When now it's kind of all online. We didn't have that. I sound so old when I say that, by the way. Well, we didn't have that in my day, but it just shows how much gaming's progressed over the years, and it's really, really fun to see. And there's definitely more to come. I feel so. Yeah.
no, definitely. Okay. So in regards to sort of Warzone, so you kind of took a bit of a break. What game did you then come back to?
It was like sports games. So I play Madden quite a lot.
Yeah,
FIFA, things like that. In terms of FPS, I don't, you can't really class kind of Red Dead Redemption and things like that as FPS, I suppose, can you? But really, kind of Modern Warfare and Warzone really was when I kind of got back to these sort of games, like
yeah,
shooting games, things like that. Yeah.
yeah. Is it something that, like you say, those other games, is it something that you always just dabbled in and out of, but didn't really play it, as much as prior?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think as well, I would play every now and again. So I have kind of gotten, a new console every couple of years, because I do like it to, you know, have a bit of a chill out, my downtime. I'll go on and play a couple of games of FIFA or a couple of games of Madden or something like that. And then, but it's been kind of since lockdown last year, basically. That is when I started kind of going on it a little bit more, playing. Sometimes I'd play 1 or 2 hours a day, but then I was playing 4 or 5 hours, so it was getting um, a lot more involved in kind of gaming, and because as I said earlier on, kind of younger years, I was dipping in and out, didn't really take it too seriously. But then the last year or so, I have kind of taken it really seriously.
No, of course. So like I say, we're back on Modern Warfare now.
Hmm.
When, when did you sort of decide that you wanted to then go, do you know what? We will host, we'll get a couple of our friends together, we'll get a group,
Hmm.
and we'll start to actually host a tournament. Is it something that you sort of, did you play in a tournament and think that's not how a tournament should be played, or was it just a case of let's get a tourney going?
Um, we played the first ever tournament we played was Thirsted Gaming, and that was on a Thursday night. And me and three of my friends played the quads tournament, and we thought, wow, like this is, it felt that bit rush of excitement, that thrill of competing, and that sort of thing. And we're like, oh right, okay. So back at that was around September, I think, 2020, maybe October, something like that. So we kind of put the steps in place and thought, oh, do you know what? Like, and I'm not going to say that we sat there initially and thought, we could do better than that, because that's not how it happened whatsoever. But we just thought, let's jot some ideas down, let's jump on a call and just maybe see, is the scope for us to maybe run one as well? With I think Thursday ran one on a Thursday and a Saturday, so we thought, maybe we can run one on a Sunday or a Wednesday when they're not on. So that's what we did initially. And I remember our first tournament, just to try and get the numbers in, it was a free tournament, so anyone could enter. And there was four of us, and we all put, I think it was 20 quid in each, and the winner won 80 quid. So that was our very first tournament, which was, I think it was the 27th of October 2020. So in that time we had to build up website, entry forms, payment methods, all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So, and like you say, the at the very start, the prize pools were a lot smaller.
Yeah, yeah, a lot smaller.
As you as you can imagine, that you got like FaZe hosting a
Yeah,
25k
yeah.
uh
And we're like, come and win
tourney.
our 60
Yeah.
pounds. Yeah.
No, but definitely, I think like yourselves, and a few other tourneys sort of that were back in the day, really set the tone for a lot of these 25k ones that are being hosted by sort of,
Hmm.
um, these big figures, even people like J God's tournament and that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's sort of your, like I said, yourselves and other people that sort of pave the way with the rule sets, with the
Hmm.
brackets, with the way that the tournaments ran, with the kills, with the if it's a quad race, 15 points for a win, all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
that's sort of brainstormed by yourselves.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
has really paved something for a hell of a lot of sort of organisations and
Yeah.
organisers.
Yeah, definitely. And it's something, we speak a lot with other organizers as well. Won't mention any particular names, but we have conversations all the time. We share, our suspect player lists, our ban lists, our rules. We're currently working on, I think, with 5 or 6 other organizers, getting like a solid rule set built across all of these tournaments, so that if a player plays in, say, ours, for example, and then goes and plays in PS Gaming on Wednesday with Pud, um, there's not different rules, so they don't have to keep checking and reading through the rules and thinking, well, actually, cracked was that, and now this is this. This is
Yeah,
confusing. So we are working on something like that, which is going to be really, really beneficial, I believe. There's a lot of great tournament organizers out there, and we are all friendly with each other. We all get along. We all help each other out. Some people help us out. We help other people out, and it is a really, really, so that organizer side of it is really, really fun. It's great to kind of bounce ideas around each other. We talk to each other about when we're hosting events, so we don't all, like, 3 of them host one on the same day, because that just causes chaos for the player as well as the organizer. So that side of things is really good as well. And I think one of the best things about it is also seeing where people started with us, maybe in they might have played their first tournament in November, and kind of seeing the progression and seeing that
yeah,
they're getting a lot better and things like that. That is really, really pleasing to see as well.
yeah. I can sort of appreciate, like you say, that you are discussing it within different organisers, because you can definitely see it. You can see it when you enter these tournaments.
Hmm.
You can see it with the rule sets. You
Yeah.
can see it with the dates. Like you say, you've never got 3 tourneys on one day,
Hmm.
and I
Hmm.
think that's really beneficial for the sort of the Warzone scene within the EU.
Yeah.
Because if you refer that to America, obviously you do get these huge tournaments, these huge cash prizes. But if you actually go in the big streamers chats, it's, oh, I've got to forfeit this game because we've got another tournament starting,
Yeah.
or it's
Yeah.
for 30k more.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I don't think that at all is good practice.
I agree.
Like you say, you've got viewers that would specifically want to watch crack gaming,
Hmm.
like yourselves, and sit and watch the whole tournament to get to the final,
Hmm.
and then go, oh, we've got another tourney. So,
Yeah. And
and I
that's the
think
thing
it
as well.
completely
Yeah.
ruins the viewership. It really does.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully one day, but no, certainly no plans yet of hosting 25k, 30k, 40k Tonys. But and it must be a dilemma, because if you grind it all the way to final, fair enough, ours might only be for 500 quid, but you might be one up in the final, but you have to go to another. Let's say, I don't know, say it's a 25k Tony, and you might get first rounded. So
Yeah,
it's that thing of, right, do I just settle for 500 quid? And I suppose the gamblers in them might think, well, actually, you know what, we've played pretty well this tournament, we're frying, let's go to the other tournament and see if we can carry on that form. But and I think us smaller organisers as well, we'll try and do everything to accommodate. If they want to play the final the next day, that's totally fine with us. We try and, like, we understand that we're not at the 25, 30, 40, 50k level. You know what I mean? We're not trying to kid ourselves that we are. We try and be friendly for the player. We try and be accommodating. And I think one of the main things, and I'm sure everyone agrees with this, we want people to have fun.
Yeah.
We don't want people to be stressed. We don't want people to launch their controller through the window. We actually want people to enjoy playing tournaments, playing it competitively, and enjoying themselves.
Yeah, and I think that shows just how good you are as organisers, as a group. You know, I've never seen any like bad press about you guys. And that's why when we discussed previously about the charity tournament that
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any of the tourney, organisers in mind that I
Mm-hmm.
would want to put my trust into.
Yeah.
And I had so many questions for you guys, and you just smashed
It's
everyone
fine.
back.
It's fine. It's just one of those things. It's we're more than happy to help anyone out. And in terms of you've never heard of us getting any bad rep, then you don't see our DMs. But we keep those private. And that's another thing as well, as I'm sure everyone can understand. It's impossible to keep everyone happy, but I think it's when someone's upset, it's how you deal with that. We try and be quite personable, um, and just try and see them. We try and make people see it from our side of view and our point of view. Um, and also, we're human. The odd time, yeah, we will make a mistake, but we not quite often, but when we do, we hold our hands up and say, "Look, sorry, we got that one wrong. We may offer a refund or free entry or something along those lines." But we never just kind of shut people out and let them just, talk
Yeah.
rubbish about us and stuff. So yeah.
No, I think exactly that, and I think that's why so many people are encouraged to come back and play the tournaments,
Hmm.
and get involved with the different sort of tourneys that you have.
Hmm.
Because, like you say, it's not just something that even if you've made a mistake, a lot of these tourneys will just say, "Well, it's done now. There's
Yeah.
nothing that we can do."
Hmm.
And if you're actually putting them steps into place to contact them and say, "Actually, look, we'll hold our hands up. We've made that error.
Yeah.
This is what we want to do to rectify it." And I
Hmm.
think that's where a lot of other tourney organisers go wrong.
Hmm.
Is that being that friend, like you say, we're all humans, being that friendly figure and saying, "Look, I've made a mistake.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
this is what we can do to rectify it," instead of just hiding in a shell.
Yeah.
And I do honestly think that, like you say, you've got organisers like yourselves that do put such hard graft into it, and I don't think a lot of people appreciate the amount of work that goes in behind closed doors. Um, to even get some of these tourneys up and running. I dealt with a small part of that charity tournament, just organisation, and oh my god, I was shattered.
Yeah.
By the end of it, when it all finished, I was absolutely shattered.
Yeah. What do you
So
think these circles around my eyes are? That's not from that's not from lack of sleep. That's from stress of tournament. Only
but
joking.
I
Only
think
joking.
I think this is a perfect place to kind of have people appreciate that, like you say, you're not just a logo, you're not just robots behind a
Yeah.
computer. There is individuals that are working tirelessly to actually get these tournaments up and running
Yeah.
and let people have fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly. Exactly. And I keep saying it's the same with other organizers because they're all great, and I don't want to kind of it come across that we think we're superior or anything like, because that is completely not the case. They're all friendly. They all help out their competitors as well. But I'm just kind of talking about from our side and what we do here. Um, you know, if a tournament isn't working, we'll change it halfway through. But we won't. We'll take feedback from players as well. And I know a lot of organizers do this. They put out polls in the Discord. They put out polls on Twitter to say, right, okay, we're thinking of this. What KD caps do you want? Or give us an idea for a tournament. Okay, it's hard sometimes because tournaments sometimes can get a bit stale. If you're running the same thing every single week, every single week, every single week, eventually you may see your numbers kind of drop down a little bit. So getting that interaction from the community as well is very important to say, right, okay, what do you guys want to do? Give us some ideas. You know, And we're in contact with a lot of, well, not a lot, but we're in contact with a few people about some kind of upcoming tournaments. Just something a little bit different. Hopefully, the community enjoy it and like it, because that's all we're trying to do, really.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think, like you say, the focus on the community side of things, reaching out to these individuals and saying, look, what is it that you want?
Hmm.
We will work with you. We will work with individuals. We'll get the tournaments that everybody wants to see.
Hmm.
And again, it's not for the benefit of yourselves. It's the benefit for the enjoyment of everyone playing these tournaments.
Yeah.
You know, for people's streams to benefit from it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And you see a lot of these streams where they sit on a lot of viewers playing your
Hmm.
tournaments, and that's especially when like I say when we hosted one, um, it was incredible to see,
Hmm.
to click on these big streamers, even the smaller streamers that we had
Hmm.
involved,
Yeah.
sat on 3 or 4 viewers. It
Hmm.
was brilliant to go in and see that it was crack gaming Warzone charity tournament,
Hmm.
people in the chat interacting,
Yeah.
and that was a magical moment for myself to be
Yeah.
a part of.
Definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
and
And
like
I
you say, I think the communities, reacted really well in terms of um, not just yourselves, but other polls and stuff like that on Twitter that you
hmm.
see,
Yeah.
and really interacting, to see what they want to play.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think it's also, I know one of the things when we started out, it is because yes, well, actually, it was more so when we started hosting these 2v2s, because you see them all, 50 grand, 20 grand, 25 grand, and all this, and we're thinking, right, okay, should we do a no cap, but we don't want to have it too high. So if we have the prize pool as, I don't know, maybe 400 quid, will they play? Will they play? We're not sure. They used to play in these tournaments for 250 grand and all that side of things. But what we've kind of worked out is that people are going to be on anyway. Okay, they're going to be playing pubs or chals or wagers anyway. So if they're going to play for, yes, it might be 8 hours or so, but they might win 500 quid.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's something that took us a couple of months to actually learn and say, right, actually, do you know what? They want to interact with that chat. If they're on, yes, if they get to the finals, and fair enough, it's only 400 or 500 quid, but think of all the bits, all the subs,
yeah,
all the new followers, champs tweets, things like that. They're getting a lot of interaction from things like that. So, um, yeah,
yeah.
it's enjoyable.
No, and I think like you say, even the Twitter interactions, like you say, if you tweet out and say, these are the winners of this tournament,
Hmm.
they're gonna get that following across.
Yeah.
They're gonna have other communities come across and say, well, these won. Let's watch
Yeah.
these. These are clearly good.
Definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
and that sort of thing. And like you say, it's good for people as well for other tournaments because they say, well, we've won cracked,
Hmm.
we've won all these tournaments. I won the last 2v2
Hmm.
cracked. You know, if you need the reference, here's the tweet. You
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really good that you guys it's sort of catering to the community and you're helping people, like you say, the progression side of things.
Hmm.
People come in entering, the smaller brackets, and you see that they are improving and they're starting
Hmm.
to win a few and getting that better KDs and better, play styles and that sort of thing. And then they do go into the no KD caps, and they
Yeah.
do match up against these, big streamers.
Yeah.
I remember one tournament, I believe, it was Quirky at the time,
Hmm.
and we played him in a 2v2, and he beat me and another fella. And I can't remember. It was a while ago, so I cannot remember the smaller details. But he beat me, and obviously, incredible bloke.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, was really good. Like giving GGs, whatever. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they smoked us, if I'm honest. Um,
I always
but
message Quirky and say, and sorry to interrupt there, but I always message him and say, you need to start your own like audiobooks because his voice, when you watch his stream, his voice is so soothing. It just kind of, if I'm stressed, I'll hike Quirky's stream on and it's just kind of relaxing. Even he could be getting shot out of a helicopter and he just sounds so peaceful and
yeah,
relaxing. So yeah, anyway, sorry, carry on.
no, no, no. But even seeing him, so that wouldn't have been a no cap.
Yeah.
I'm not on that level.
Hmm.
But so that was obviously, like you say, like it was potentially a a 5, 6 KD cap duos
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
something along them lines. And you've
Yeah.
now got him competing in the no caps and
Hmm.
really putting it to some of these big streamers.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
taking runs right into the final.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, we did try and get him onto the charity tournament, but he was working.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I would have really enjoyed to see him play. But like I say, I'm all for it, seeing that progression, and seeing, like you say, these individuals really putting a standpoint, and putting their name out there. So these
Hmm.
big streamers are, when they do go up against them in the finals, they're saying, hang on a minute, this guy's just fucking smoked us. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
And there's a lot of people out there like that. A lot of people who grind the game 9, 10 hours a day, deserve chances. And even people who, may have been in kind of 3, 4 KD caps 3, 4 months ago are now pushing the sort of 5, 6 KD caps. People like Birds, people like Adzi, who is an absolute grinder, but I think the only thing Adzi hasn't had is a crack game in champs tweet. But he's been in the final, must have been about 4 or 5 times. I think he's won every other tournament he's played, with every other organizer, but he's cursed with us. So hopefully he gets his first champs one soon. Um, and to be honest, there's just far too many I can name. Um,
you got,
I've got all these names spinning around
yeah,
in my head. Everyone's entry forms are just kind of flooding back. But yeah, there's absolutely loads. And I talked earlier on about seeing the progression in people, and one of the main ones, I know you had him on your podcast recently, is Amari. So he first joined our tournaments. God, when was it? Maybe late 2020, and he was only on, I can't even remember how many, he was maybe on averaging maybe 30, 40 viewers or something like that. But seeing his progression in the last 6 months, getting partner, getting in all these in all these big tournaments, so that is just kind of seeing someone grow like that is just absolutely amazing.
yeah,
It really does feel special to see kind of to not, I don't want to say like go along that journey with someone, because that's kind of not what's happening, but to kind of see his progression from when he first entered and have that relationship with him is really, really special.
yeah.
And it's just it's nice to be liked, isn't it?
Yeah, no, like you say, it's
Yeah.
it's more of like a support network and that communication that you have with that person.
Yeah.
Again, whilst they grow, and then obviously they become this, the big competitors that they are,
Yeah.
and then get the chance to play in these huge, 25K or Twitch rivals or all these
Yeah.
tournaments.
Absolutely.
Um, one person another person that sticks out for me is Angus.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I've had him
Yes.
on the podcast before, but the grind that this guy puts in
Yeah. Yeah.
and the progression that he's made. So he's obviously playing in these smaller brackets,
Uh-huh.
back in the day, and has kind of grinded his way up. And now I see the guy tweeting out that he's playing tournaments with the likes of FaZe Blue, and
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, stuff like that is mad. And the guy's still young as well, so
Yeah.
it's crazy to see that you can, as tourney hosts, that you can see these people coming in the smaller brackets,
Absolutely.
doing
Absolutely.
well, and then becoming someone that you go up against in a 2v2, and you're a bit like, okay,
Yeah.
well, we're gonna have to be a bit careful here. We're not just gonna die off the rip. You know what I mean? You've got to
Yeah.
put in the
Yeah.
graft to beat these.
Yeah.
Um, and I do think, like you say, it's not just the players that, like you say, you are just that sort of support and that sort of communication with the community and to,
Mhm.
to help them. But tournament organisers, again, like yourselves, other tourneys, are really, really good for people
Mhm.
in terms of their growth. Really, really good for
Yeah.
that recognition.
Yeah.
So, and I strongly agree that that's hats off to yourselves for
Mhm.
putting on such a good tourney, but
Mhm.
also that community environment,
Yeah.
because that's quite hard to find the balance.
It is. It is. It is. And it's funny you talk about Angus. So one of the very first interactions we had with Angus, and this is just a little story, and I'm sure he'll have a backup to this, but he if I remember all the details, he entered a tournament, or he was trying to enter a tournament, but it was past the cutoff time. So he sent us a message, and all it said was, "Please let me in. I have clout." Okay, and that's the first time I'd ever heard the word clout, and I was like, "What is this?" Like, and we are still relatively new. Um, Although I obviously know who Angus is now, I hadn't really heard too much of him at the time, so I'm like, clout. So me and the lads were like, googling what the word clout means, and it's like, oh right, okay, that's what clout means. So Angus introduced us to the word clout. There we go. And I think we did end up getting him in the tournament. I think he might have won it actually. I think him and Porthouse might have won it. So he certainly did fry that night. And he
The younger
provided
generation. That's
and
what it is.
also what he did was, and actually that's come back to us now. He messaged that, and then he also said, "Okay, thank you for letting us in. Um, be ready with my champs tweet later on." And then 8 hours later, maybe slightly longer actually. Don't know if that one went on or not. He did himself have a champs tweet. So there we
That's
go.
mad.
Confidence.
And we
And
love the confidence.
yep, love the confidence. Love the confidence. So yeah.
Got a lot of time for that. Okay, so we'll go on to sort of the final section. In terms of, like say, crack gaming as a whole.
Yep.
So if you could work with a organisation
Mm-hmm.
or a individual in just in general, maybe that'd be one person if they wanted to do a like we did charity tournament
Yeah.
or anything like that within the gaming scene, who would it
Mm-hmm.
be and why?
I think organization wise, you've got to kind of look at from like a sort of casual tournament point of view. Mainland are really really good. We're very kind of impressed by them. Everything that they do seems really seamless, seems really smooth. Our graphics guy is just directly in love with all the graphics that they have. He absolutely loves it.
Yeah,
So a sort of joint tournament with those would be absolutely insane. Person wise, see, we've all got different favorites
yeah,
within Cracked HQ. So my personal favorites, well, I think we all agree Tommy is kind of our number one.
yeah.
So maybe working with him would be superb. Um, and I think one of the lads sits and watches Doctor Disrespect avidly. I don't know how that would work, a cracked Doctor Disrespect stream. But I mean, a cracked Doctor Disrespect tournament. I think it would be a bit weird, a bit crazy, but sign us up for that.
Yeah, no, and like I
Yeah,
say, big names that like you say, hopefully in the future we get a chance to,
yeah, definitely.
see that, link up.
Definitely, definitely.
Um,
And I think one of the things as well, obviously, and I'm sure a lot of people say this, but spend a lot of time watching streams as well. And to see the growth of not only players' KDs and stuff in tournaments, but also the growth of people's streams as well. I mentioned Birds before. He's regularly kind of 30, 40 viewers. You've got Chunk, you've got Riri, you've got T Thumbs, who enters our tournaments all the time, and he's went from kind of 10 or 15 viewers to about 40 or 50. So just things like that. And then you've got your kind of FIFA Kill, who is just kind of stormed up and taken over the world basically. And I know he's been around for a long time, but it's really really good that he's been noticed as one of the top players in the world, because that's what he is. He's won the last 5 crack gaming tournaments he's entered, all with different teammates. So he's someone who regularly messages us going, "When's your next tournament? I want to win one." So yeah,
no,
really good.
definitely.
And I think
Okay,
personally, streamers I'll give him who I personally enjoy watching. I love watching Crowder.
yeah,
He is my favorite person to watch. Kind of celebrity wise, he's such a chill dude. Especially when he plays PGA Tour on stream. Like I could just sit there with a beer, chill, watching him.
yeah.
Because I play that as well sometimes as a, when you've sweated for 4 hours on Warzone and you just want something just to kind of take your mind
You
off
can
it.
sit back, yeah,
You
and
can
just
sit back,
yeah,
swing the ball, have it on easy mode, and just just let it. There's no hackers in golf. So yeah, he's my number one who I watch all the time. So yeah,
perfect. Okay, so the final question now. Obviously, we weren't going to let you go without the mystery question.
okay.
So you're on an island,
Mhm.
okay, desert
Mhm.
island. You're stuck there. No going back. You got to take one person from the competitive community,
Okay.
right? and then 3 items.
So 1 person from the competitive community and 3 items.
And now you're
Right.
stuck. Like you're
Stuck there forever, yeah?
so you're there now. So
Okay.
that's your life.
Right. Okay.
So pick wisely.
Okay. Zelina. I'll not say what I was going to say because it'll upset him. Okay. Right. So I would take, and do you know what? When you said mystery question, I was like, oh, what's it? But I've watched a few of your podcasts lately, and I should have prepared for this.
This is the main reason why we do it,
ah,
right? Because everyone knows that this question's at
mhm.
the end, right?
Yeah.
But by the time we've gone through the whole podcast, they just seem
Yeah.
to forget. And then
Yeah.
obviously I drop it, and then people just have no clue what to say.
Yeah. I want to give. And I see, do you know what as well? It's like that thing on, when you watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where the guy in the seat is like, oh no, I'm not sure what that answer is, and everyone at home screaming, going, it's A. And I'm sure when I was watching like Amari and KK, the last few weeks, I'm like, well, obviously you would take this, and I can't remember in my head what I said, so now I just don't know. So I would take, I'd be a bit lost without my laptop, to be honest.
Mm.
Kind of half for cracked stuff and then half for like downtime footy manager.
Yeah.
When you just want to chill for a little bit. So I would say a laptop with an unlimited power supply.
Yeah, no, we can take. Yeah, we can
You can
take
take
that.
that, yeah.
I'll let you have
Spot
that.
on.
Yeah.
I would take a person with us. I would take, who would I have good? I would take. I'd probably have to take one of my crack team. But
Mm.
what I would do is I would get them to 1v1 each other, and whoever won, they can come along.
Well, what we'll do to stop any tension, every single week a boat will come every single Sunday and switch. So
Right,
they get a week for you.
yeah, that's fair enough. And I'll have a
We'll
week of,
do
yeah,
that.
okay, superb. And then food source, I'd probably take an unlimited supply of Tunnix caramel wafers. And I would also take an unlimited supply of. Actually, do you know what? I would take a football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got your laptop, a
Mhm.
football, some caramel waffles, and then a rotation
A
of
rotation of Team Cracked
yeah.
squashies. Squash. That's a good shout, actually. We all every Friday night when we do our 2v2, we always get packets of the drumstick squashies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like that's what keeps it going until 4 a.m. So yeah, and we have to look at these
Keeps the
hackers.
sugar.
Keeps the sugar up. Yeah, exactly.
No, thank you so much for coming on.
No worries, man. And
It's been an
also,
absolute pleasure.
thank you for everything that you do for our community. The charity event, it was absolutely superb working with you. Thank you for asking us to come on. It's been an absolute pleasure from seeing who you've had on previously. We are inspired by yourself. We are appreciative that you would take the time out to interview us when I'm sure you've got a lot of people knocking on your door. And as I say, I just hope that this whole podcast just puts a bit of a face to the name so that we're not just little humanless robots who sit and just press yes or no every week when someone comes to us with a hacker.
No, I do really appreciate, the gas there at the end. Someone I wasn't expected, to be honest. But I do like that, and I really do appreciate it. What we do, just to let anybody know that potentially may have come in late.
Okay.
This will be uploaded to YouTube and to Spotify as well.
Awesome.
So obviously, if anyone's missed it, they know where to find it. I'll put all my socials. I'll put it all over all my socials. Sorry. If there is any socials that you guys have, so obviously I've got the Crack Gaming Twitter, but if there's any of the personal Twitters that you guys need or any of the other socials that you guys use, obviously send them across to me, and
Yeah.
we'll get that all
Well,
across.
I think with this showing my face for the first time, I might be setting up an OnlyFans in the next kind of day or two. So I'll make sure to get that across to you as well. Have that on the
So
website.
I'm gonna make this very clear. If we see a cracked game in 10K or something come out of nowhere,
Yep.
we know what's happened.
Yep. OnlyFans
The
subscribers.
OnlyFans has
Yep.
gone
Yep.
off.
Yep. Absolutely.
No, perfect. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for coming on,
Smashing.
everyone. Peace.
No worries, man. Thanks very much.